who supports the Commission's funding plan? For several years, a group called the Keystone Transportation Funding Coalition has pushed for a comprehensive solution to Pennsylvania's transportation funding problem. The highway construction industry and public transit agencies have been joined by groups representing labor unions, the business community, freight haulers, freight and passenger rail, air and seaports, local governments, bicycle and pedestrian trail advocates, land use advocates, local chambers of commerce, travel and tourism organizations, environmental advocates, healthcare providers, the AARP, and AAA. The group is united in its belief that the various transportation modes constitute a single, integrated, interconnected transportation network. Members of this group have been behind www.reconnectpa.org, an interactive website designed to stimulate discussions around the various local transportation projects needed around the state. We've also seen from several years of public opinion polling that a majority of Pennsylvanians wants improved safety and relief from traffic congestion. The polling has shown that a majority of the public also is willing to make an investment of $2.50 per week to make that happen. Public support becomes even stronger when people understand that a well-funded transportation program will create tens of thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania. It becomes stronger still when they find out that 58% of those jobs are in industries other than highway construction. If we were to adopt this funding plan, how could we keep this problem from happening again? Well, for many years, transportation advocates have called for predictable funding mechanisms that would grow with inflation. The recommendations in the TFAC report would provide for that. To show your support for the TFAC plan, visit www.bettersaferroads.com and let your state representative, state senator, and Governor Corbett know that you support a safer, less congested transportation system, along with a brighter economic future for Pennsylvania. Well, now that we've discussed Pennsylvania's transportation funding issue, you may have some questions. For the final few minutes of this presentation, we'll answer some of the most frequently asked questions we hear about this issue.
How can you expect people to afford any increase, even $2.50 per week?
Well, some people may not realize that the cost for doing nothing can be much greater than the cost of solving the problem. For example, if your morning and evening commute takes even 10 more minutes than it should because of congestion, you could be wasting 3 gallons of gas every week. If so, you're paying 4 times more than the $2.50 you'd be investing in the TFAC plan. Now, we're not even counting the additional costs of maintenance and repairs caused by rough roads, or the frustration tax levied on anyone who spends more time than necessary in traffic instead of with family, friends, or hobbies.
Why should the rest of Pennsylvania pay for public transit in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh?
Well, that's probably the biggest myth in the entire transportation funding discussion. The areas with the heaviest concentration of people contribute far more revenue for transportation than they receive. The truth is, residents of the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas are paying for the transportation system in less populated areas of the state rather than the other way around.
Why don't we just eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse and reallocate it to transportation?
First, the magnitude of the transportation funding gap, $3.5 billion annually, is far greater than any degree of inefficiency in state government. Second, bridges and highways are funded entirely through user fees, the gas tax, driver's licenses and vehicle registrations, and tolls. Third, PennDOT has proven to be one of the country's most efficient departments of transportation, making the most of limited resources by pushing bridge and highway projects through the competitive bidding process. PennDOT has also put numerous cost-saving initiatives in place in the past 2 years.
How can you say PennDOT is efficient? There are always highway workers leaning on their shovels at every construction site.
About 3/4 of PennDOT's highway construction budget is competitively bid by private sector companies. Because of intense competition for the work, many projects are coming in at costs of 30 to 35% less than the estimates. As for people at construction sites who may not appear to be doing anything, that's just the nature of construction work, where the top priorities are safety and quality. In In the extremely competitive highway construction business, private sector companies do not allow their workers to waste time.
With gas prices near their all-time highs, why isn't there enough money for highways? Where is all that money going?
Well, the per-gallon taxes on gasoline have not been increased since 1997 in Pennsylvania and 1993 at the federal level. The oil company franchise tax, which is levied at the wholesale level, has been artificially capped since 1981. So, higher gasoline prices do not translate into more highway revenue. In fact, as higher gas prices cause motorists to conserve and as mileage standards increase, gas tax revenue has actually gone down.
Isn't transportation funding a federal issue?
There is, in fact, no consensus among Congress or the administration about any type of transportation policy, including funding. States cannot afford to wait for Washington to solve this problem. Additionally, it is more efficient to raise the required revenue at the state level and have more control over where and how it's spent, rather than to be subjected to conditions imposed at the federal level.
Highway funding supporters always talk about the number of jobs that would be created. But why should the state help just one industry when everybody else needs help too?
Actually, 58% of the jobs created with a comprehensive transportation funding solution would be in industries other than highway construction, according to an economic study by the American Road and Transportation Builders Association, ARTBA. The majority of jobs would be in sectors such as manufacturing, retail, healthcare, finance, real estate, and so on. To view the ARTBA study, including a county-by-county breakdown of the number of jobs created, visit www.pahighwayinfo.org and look for the link on the homepage.
Highway funding supporters always mention safety as a reason to support more revenue, but are highways really that unsafe?
Have you ever come over a hill or around a curve upon traffic that is stopped due to congestion? Has it ever caused you to wonder whether that trucker you passed a couple of miles back will see the backup in time to stop safely? Now, congestion isn't the only factor that creates safety risks. Outdated signals or signage, deteriorated pavement, faded lane markings, weakened bridges, and many other factors can expose motorists and their passengers to danger. A study by the Pacific Institute for Research and Evaluation concluded that roadway condition contributes in more than half of 42,000 highway deaths per year.
How can we be sure that the revenue collected in the name of increased highway funding won't be redirected to some other state government program?
The Pennsylvania State Constitution requires that all revenue from gas taxes and license and registration fees be channeled to the Motor License Fund. From there, it can be spent only for highways. If you still have questions, please feel free to explore one or more of the following websites: www.pahighwayinfo.org, www.reconnectpa.org, and www.bettersaferroads.com. Thank you for listening. So long, and safe travels.